Welcome back. All right, news of the day video for all you fine people on the internet. A preview of tonight's action as well. 4 games tonight. Not an overly busy Monday, but busier than Mondays were earlier in the season for sure. At any rate, let's go ahead and jump in with the news for your Monday, starting off with Jonathan Toews. Now, Jonathan Toews had already stated before that if he returned to the NHL, that Chicago would not be a place he's looking at as an option, and he is still feeling that way. So, in an interview today, which is posted on The Athletic, saying that he feels he still has something left in the tank and that he won't be going out there and playing for the Chicago Blackhawks. My guess is he wants a chance to win a Stanley Cup, that he'll sign a 1-year deal this summer. If he's able to make that return, he's working towards it. My guess is it might be a team like Florida, might be Tampa. I mean, Winnipeg's always a possibility. That's one that's been out there for a long time that's been rumored, but I think Toews is going to look for a chance to win, which might be why he'd look at Chicago as not really being an option. Well, Chicago's getting better. The rate at which they're getting better, by the time they're ready to contend for a Stanley Cup, he's probably retired. Juuso Valimaki, who has already had a rough season for Utah, it has now been revealed he's going to be out 8 to 9 months with the torn ACL. So a tough season gets tougher for Valimaki. Now he goes through the process of trying to rehab and come back. All the best to him and his efforts. For Utah, of course, they have depth on the blue line, and Valimaki's been in and out of the lineup for them this season. So here's to hoping he gets everything together and is ready to return in 8 months' time. Will it be with Utah, though, is the question that I would ask. Where else might he end up? So, yeah, just a question I'll throw out there. So this feels like damage control being done by Brad Treliving of the Toronto Maple Leafs. It came out that Mitch Marner was asked to waive his no trade. Did not. They also apparently had another deal they were looking at with Carolina where it would be 2 first-round draft picks, Fraser Minton and Easton Cowan, going to Carolina in exchange for Rantanen. But Treliving is now stating that he wants to keep Mitch Marner. That Marner, being a part of the Leafs, they really want to keep him. And for Marner, I'm sure there's part of him that wants to say, seriously, they tried trading me and now they want to keep me around. And I don't just mean till the end of the season. I mean, he's talking about, yeah, we want to keep him long term. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens there. I would think Marner's going to play some really good hockey because I would think he's probably pretty ticked. Even though hockey players won't tell you, he's probably ticked off. And sometimes players play better when they're a little bit angry. And this might work out really well for Toronto. Just imagine Marner goes on a fantastic run the rest of the way this season, really strong run in the playoffs, and then decides, you know what, I'm going to go somewhere else. But if Toronto has a nice run in the playoffs, I think fans will be okay with that. So the Mitch Marner situation is going to be an interesting one to watch from here going forward. And it does feel like damage control by Brad Treliving. It just does. Like, oh, right, yeah, about that whole trading thing. We weren't actually going to trade you. That was the test. And you didn't waive, which shows you're loyal to Toronto. So we're going to be super duper duper loyal to you. Anyways, we'll see how things turn out with Marner and the Leafs from here. Your 3 stars of the week this week, Nathan MacKinnon, 999 career points coming into tonight. He's also the first star of the week in the National Hockey League. 3 games, 4 goals, 5 assists, 9 points for MacKinnon this week. Excellent week. Second star, Steven Stamkos in Nashville. 3 games, 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points. He is starting to figure things out in Nashville. Of course, the Preds are nowhere near a playoff spot, but if you're Barry Trotz and you believe that they can have a better year next year than what they've had this year, you can use that as an example, although time is undefeated and eventually everybody slows down, so you can't necessarily count on those numbers from Stamkos next year, but we'll see. The third star of the week, Tom Wilson, 4 games played with Washington this week. They won all 4. 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points for Tom Wilson, who has quietly become a very productive, very good forward. And notice we haven't been complaining about all of his, nasty hits and what a dirty player lately. Wilson's been pretty good at keeping his nose clean. And so here we are. He's one of the 3 stars of the week. Brad Marchand, and this has got to be tough for him. He gets traded out. He was a member of the Boston organization for over 15 years. And he got choked up asking when he was asked about leaving Boston and talked about how hard that was. And as a Boston fan, I kind of hoped that he'd stay in Boston until he retired. And he did say nice things about Sweeney and Neely as well. Said he believes Sweeney's the best GM in the NHL. Boston fans, if you're laughing, I don't know why you'd be doing that. That's weird. But at any rate, Marchand had nice things to say. Also talks about the chance he's got now in Florida, and I think it's great. So for people who don't like Marchand, I know nobody's going to be moved by him getting choked up when he's talking about leaving Boston. But for me, as somebody who's watched his career unfold to this point, all the way from when he was a rookie until now, it's been amazing to watch his growth. When he came into the league, nobody thought he was ever going to be a 1,000-point player. He was seen as just a bottom six guy, an irritator, and just an agitator. And here we are, all these years later, and he's closing in on 1,000 points. He's got a Stanley Cup ring. He was captain of the Boston Bruins, and now he has a chance to win another Stanley Cup in Florida. So, yeah, Marchand is one of those players that I understand a lot of people may not like him and all that, but for me personally, I understand why he's been popular in Boston with Bruins fans, and I do have a couple of Marchand jerseys. One that I got not too long ago because it was on sale dirt cheap from the NHL site. They knew something. They knew Boston's going to trade this guy, and we want to get this jersey out of here. But it was the century one, the Centennial. There you go, the Centennial one. So I was like, I gotta. And I'm talking about last year's black Centennial jersey, not the Centennial jersey this year, which was a throwback combination of the 70s and 80s looks. Boston just gets people to part with their money for jerseys regularly. So, and I know. All right, I hear myself say it. I know. All right, getting into tonight's preview. 4 games tonight in the National Hockey League. Starting at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Just one game then. It's Edmonton in Buffalo against the Sabres. The Oilers, 37-22-4 overall. They're 4-6 in their last 10 games. Whereas Buffalo, 24-32-6. They're 3-6-1 in their last 10 games. The Oilers are definitely trending. I think they're trending in the positive coming out of that game against Dallas. Now tonight's game against Buffalo is a good test because Buffalo is a game that you can kind of overlook. You can kind of be like, it's the Sabres, but the Sabres, they don't really have any pressure on them right now, so should be an interesting one. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. I think this will probably be the best game of the night. Detroit in against the Ottawa Senators. Detroit 30-27-6, 3-6-1 in their last 10 games. Ottawa 32-25-5 overall. They're 4-5-1 in their last 10 games. And these two teams meeting each other, fighting over the same playoff spot, I think these two teams have had very, very similar seasons, where at times it looks like, yep, playoffs, no problem, and at other times, playoffs, they're not going to make the playoffs. Both of them have switched spots. Detroit's had really good winning streaks, followed by losing streaks, and when the losing streaks hit, everybody loses faith in them, and then when they start winning, everybody loves them again, which Ottawa, kind of the same thing. So this should be a really interesting one tonight. And I'm just looking forward to watching some really good hockey between the Wings and the Sens. I think it's going to be a good one. I will not be surprised if Detroit wins, but if they do, I'll bet you it's a 3-point game. So, and I say that just I don't bet. So no. 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific start between Chicago and Colorado. The Avs, the home team in this one. Chicago 20-35-9 overall. They're 3-4-3 in their last 10. For Colorado, 38-24-2. They're 7-3 in their last 10. Of course, this is Bedard against McKinnon. McKinnon, as I said before, at 999 points. He's going to get 1,000 probably tonight. And for Chicago, they're just going to have to hope they can hold on. Levshunov is making his debut tonight. So, welcome to the NHL. Levshunov is going to get a chance to try to slow down Nathan McKinnon or Natchez or any other number of really good forwards that you now have in the Colorado lineup. It is not going to be an easy task. And then at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, the Toronto Maple Leafs in Utah against the Utah Hockey Club. For Toronto, 38-22-3 record, 6-3-1 in their last 10. Utah 28-25-10, 6-3-1 in their last 10 games. Utah's been playing well. They'll be a very good test for a Toronto team that is winless in 3 games. For the Toronto Maple Leafs, they do need to get this going because they have to worry about Tampa and Florida. You don't want to be the number 3 team in the Atlantic. So, yeah, they need a win tonight, and Utah has not been an easy 2 points for anybody lately. So, if Detroit and Ottawa is kind of a dud tonight, then Toronto and Utah will probably be the best game of the night because the other ones feature Buffalo and Chicago against teams that are envisioned as contenders come playoff time. So let me know your picks in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts as well on any of the items on the board as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.